Welcome to Billy's List. Cool dudes who know cool stuff. Please like and subscribe to the Macrodosing YouTube, and I hope you enjoy the show. See you guys. All right, welcome to episode 2 of Billy's List. If you didn't check out episode 1 with the Dutch Hammer, it's a must listen interview. Welcome back to the Macrodosing YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Really appreciate you guys helping grow the Macrodosing YouTube. We're here for episode 2 with Ali. Ali is coming to us from Sweden. He is a network engineer, and as well as that, he's a semi-pro football player overseas. So Ali, thank you so much for joining us. Been meaning to get to know you, seen you interacting in the chat, and honestly, how'd you end up in Sweden?
First of all, I'm sort of born and raised here, so
Oh, nice.
so I'm a Swedish citizen, even though I might not sound like it. So yeah, my parents, both moved here from Morocco at like the 80s, and history since then.
I know, I'm going to be honest, you have zero accent, so I had no idea you were from Sweden. I have a buddy who's playing Germany right now, so I didn't know if
Really?
you're doing one of those deals. Yeah, he plays for the Coatbus Crayfish, I think
I
they're
have
called.
never heard of that team, and I know a lot of teams.
Yeah.
I can put on an accent if you want. I can talk in the Swedish accent like this if it helps. Durka durka, something like that. Swedish meatballs.
No,
I don't know, Swedish fish, I guess. Well, I've been surrounded by Americans like my whole playing career for like 10 years, sort of. So, and you pick up a lot of stuff from that. And in Sweden, like everyone speaks fluent English. So not a lot of people have an accent really. So appreciate the the belief.
I wasn't trying to be a douche. I just was just like, whoa.
No, I get it. It's common, it's normal, bro. Yeah. No, but born and raised in Sweden, like Swedish college, Swedish school, sports, everything, and watched football for like 10 years, played for like 10 years. Yeah. And a network engineer on the side. Or my main thing.
So how did you get into American football? American football, I mean, I imagine, is it that widespread in Sweden right now, or how is it?
Well, let's see. It's not that widespread. It's one of the like youth sports that's like growing like really fast, like compared to other sports. And how do you say, like it's not like hockey and soccer. Like you always see Swedish guys in NHL and stuff like that. But like for the past like 5 years, it's been growing so fast. Like we're sending kids to D1 colleges. We just had a 4-star tight end to Texas A&M, and like other 4-star like players everywhere. I have like 2 of my like best friends play at Temple, like O-linemen, who started like their playing careers here in Sweden through the youth system and all that. But it's like, yeah, so it's weird. But like the way I got into it was like, so I was like a really chubby kid, like start of high school, like when I was 15. And I tried playing soccer, I tried playing basketball, never really got into any of that, like all the like usual sports in Sweden, like hockey, never was my thing. And then like one time in class, I just heard a kid in my class who's like, oh, I'm gonna go to like an American football practice. I'm like, huh, American football, we have that in Sweden? I'm like, sure, I'll come with. And I went there, and like it was just like just pure off-season training, just like cardio, just weights, and I like puked like 3 times, and I'm like what the fuck? And I just loved it. I've always been like a computer guy, just like gaming, played shit ton of just like games 24/7, and I went to like a nerd school like for high school, and then and I just fell in love with it, and then I didn't stop. And I was so bad for like my first 3 years, and then after that, just like hard work and just shoot up like the ranks, and yeah, so it was completely random like that.
So are the youth programs in Sweden, are they more like soccer where there's a professional team and you join their like academy?
Exactly. So the team I joined like for the first time was the Stockholm Mean Machines. And how it works is like they have a youth system and then a men's system. Like so they have both like a senior men's team and a ladies team, and those are the professionals. And then there's the juniors. So it's like U11, So like under 11 and U13, U15, U17, and U19. And these are all like just amateur level, like just youth players playing against each other, playing against like other teams in the league, like around the region. So it's divided by regions around Sweden, the north, the south, the west, the east, like that. So it's sort of like professional soccer in that way, just like not as professional and definitely not as much money.
Yeah. So how many teams do you think are in Sweden as a whole? And do you ever play teams from other countries? What's like the state of European American football?
Let's see. How many teams in Sweden? Like right now in the top league, sadly enough, we're only like 4 teams right now, because it's like it's more of a financial battle, and like all of like the top Swedish talent, like 99% of it is so concentrated into the top leagues. And so we have like divisions, sort of like college. So we have like the Division 1, which is like the top league, and then we have Division 2 and Division 3 for like all the professional men's league. And the amount of teams, like in the top league, it's 4, and I know in the second league it's like 8 teams, and the rest it's like over 30, something like that, just all around Sweden. And they all have their own separate like youth systems and everything. And international wise, like you play your own like regional league, and every year or so, like it depends. Like last year, I won the Swedish championship, and like we qualified for the Champions League. But I had to switch teams because I had to move back to Stockholm for different reasons, for job stuff. And we qualified for my old team qualified for the Champions League, and got to play against, for instance, the Copenhagen Towers. So that was, which is like a city in the central Sweden. They played the Copenhagen Towers and won in Copenhagen, and then they qualified to play against the Schwäbisch Hall Unicorns, the team that if you get some people might know, but like Moritz Boehringer, the guy who got drafted straight out of Germany in the 6th round for the Cincinnati Bengals, like 2016.
Oh yeah, that
he was
guy
like
was like
just
a freak in
athletic freak.
nature. Yeah, was he a tight end and he ran like a 4 or 5?
Yeah, he was mainly a wide receiver, and then he switched to tight end for the NFL. He ran like a 4.5, 4.4, something, like just a freak dude. And that's the team they played against. And my old team got blown the fuck out. Like that was the semifinals. But like they got played against French teams, German teams. I actually tore my Achilles like 3 weeks ago when playing against a Norwegian team, because my team qualified for the Scandinavian Cup, which is like you play teams all around Scandinavia. We won against a Danish team, and then we traveled to Norway and played against the Kristiansand Gladiators. So that's why I got the crutches over there and got this big old boot right here right now. Hopefully that's not safe for work.
So when's your season, like in the spring?
Yeah. So most of the like men's leagues they're from April to July. So we're actually closing in on the end of the season, where you have one more regular season game, then it's playoffs. So it's 1 week of playoffs, and then it's the championship.
Where are the best teams in Europe, you'd say?
I would say Germany, because Germany got Siri acting up. Germany has the best like financial backing and like development like for football in Europe. So right now there's like this super cool league started up last year, and it's entering its 2nd year now, which it's the European League of Football, the ELF. So they're like an international league, but mainly acts out of Germany. I think they're over 8 teams, and I think they're like 12 teams this year. They just expanded by 4 teams. So it's like they got Turkey, they got Spain, they got Austria. They're gonna get Italy, I know that. Germany. I might be missing some country, but they have like they're using the old NFL Europe teams because they have a collaboration with the NFL, and they're signing the best European players, and that's why the German leagues are always the best, because not necessarily because the Germans are the best. It's because they're signing all the best European players and the best American imports. Like guys straight out of D1 college or former NFL guys who want to play around Europe, just use their passport as a way to just travel in the, like using football as your passport and traveling and seeing around the world, stuff like that.
So when you're playing on these teams, like for example, is it technically professional? Do you get like much? I know you work another job, but do you get anything from playing? And it probably depends on the league, but like for example, the one you played in, if you don't mind me
So
asking.
yeah, absolutely. Don't worry about it. So when it comes to, like, for instance, the league I'm playing in, it's a mixed league. So it could be like considered amateur, it could be considered pro and semi-pro, depending on what team you go to and the financial resources. For instance, like I'm a player who would be able to warrant pay, and I've received pay for play, like not for instance like a salary, but I get like other benefits because that's how teams recruit you. They're like, oh, we'll like cover all like your trial pays, we'll give you food, clothing, like free gear, like the latest helmets and shoulder pads, gloves every game, new cleats, or they can offer you a salary if they want to. If you're just like some scrub bench player, sorry, you're gonna have to, that's usually pay for play. They usually pay like a some amount to be able to like be on the team and pay for the licensing fee, and usually pays for the, depends on the team. Like some teams they pay for everything, but you still have to pay to play. I'm a player who's like, I warrant pay, like I can get pay because I work up to that level, but I don't like getting paid from my team because I know it's a bit of a financial strain. Like I'm not doing this for the money, and also a lot of European teams have sort of shitty contracts. No matter how professional the league is, I've always seen friends get fucked over like the second they get paid, because the teams are like, the second you get paid, they can treat you like just like their bitch. They will like, yeah, they're like, oh, we pay you, you're gonna do this, 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 and this. Like you'll have no free, even though the team practice like four times a week, you're like, you're gonna coach the youth, which I have no problem with. You're gonna help doing this, you're gonna help doing this, you're gonna do this. I'm like, I can't like for what tops $1,000 a month just let another man like just fucking whip me and do work like that. So that's why I got an education and just, yeah, that's why I'm a network engineer and do stuff like that and make money, so I can just treat football like I give football 100%. Shit, I even tore my Achilles for this shit.
Yeah.
And like, I'll give it 100%. Doesn't mean I need to get paid and like have someone bitch me out. Like I'll go get my money from somewhere else and rather have like no strings attached.
Keep it as a hobby.
Exactly. I keep it as a hobby, but I do this shit for real. Like I work hard like a motherfucker.
Yeah. Now wait, how does it work with medical? In that,
How do you mean?
Well, you guys, I just realized you guys in Europe have universal healthcare. So I was wondering, like, does the team pay for your medical bills?
I mean, the league has how do you say, like a league-wide injury insurance. So they'll get you like rehab and access to like athletic trainers and hospitals and shit like that. But it's not really that popular to use. Like this is the first, like tearing my Achilles is the first time I've ever had to like use that stuff. So I've separated my shoulder, I've broken fingers and ribs and shit like that, and just went to urgent care and got shit fixed. Like Sweden, like you just go to the hospital. It might be some queue. Like the only bad thing with Swedish like healthcare, they don't treat like athletes like different from any other regular people. So they're like, they won't get you like an MRI like fast like that. They're just gonna treat you like any regular person. They're like, oh, your shoulder pop, well, take some painkillers, it's going to be okay, just do some rehab, we'll get you in contact with a doctor and whatever. It's going to take like a few weeks, so it's a bit slow, but it's cheap. It's like a visit to the urgent care is $40, no matter if like your leg got cut off or if you just sprained your ankle. And it's capped up to $120. If you pay $120 within the calendar year, all of the healthcare is free. for the rest of the calendar year, or for the rest of like for 12 months from the first payment. So yeah, I've had quite a few doctor visits right now, so I'm trying to get my Achilles back in place.
So moving away from football and getting more into your experience as a network engineer. So what exactly does that mean?
Dude, that question it's so hard and easy to like explain. Jesus. A network engineer, like for I just call myself like an internet guy, you know. I know how the internet works, I know how Wi-Fi works, I know how Bluetooth works, and I just try to make that shit work for everyone. So a network engineer is just someone who's like, see, I'm always like explaining like, for instance, if your internet doesn't work at home, like my friends always call me, they're like, oh, the internet just went out, what the fuck, like, can you help me? I'm like, I could tell you why it went out, there's probably like a good reason. I won't be able to help you because I don't have access to the systems like to help you there, because that's your operator and everything. So like I'm kind of useless in my friend circles, but I'm good at explaining how shit works. So what I do is like maintain like I work for a big fiber company, like one of the biggest in like Scandinavia. We work with we're basically just a highway of networks for different for homes, just for homes, like so we have the most fiber in like Sweden, second most I think, and to deliver to companies, deliver fiber to companies' homes and just like private customers and everything in between. So we're like the internet highway, and we maintain that highway and make sure like that everyone has access to the internet and like IPTV and stuff like that. Yeah, so I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's a bit hard to explain.
No, I get what you're saying. So you're basically you're ensuring that all the infrastructure works in this large, like wired up system we live in. I mean, you probably could help us over at Barstool because we have terrible internet. And even though we're supposed to have state-of-the-art Wi-Fi, like I almost had to go. Like my Wi-Fi is better at home. The only reason that the Wi-Fi is great right now is because I'm doing it so late in the day and most people have gone home already.
Yeah, what's that guy's name? Pete,
yeah, dude, I was just like, what the fuck? Pete's like, it's not the network, it's the Wi-Fi. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Is it true if you have a bunch of people in the same room, like too many people on the Wi-Fi, that the Wi-Fi gets worse?
Yeah, so how it works, like the Wi-Fi or the access point that like is responsible for that area of the room, it can get like not overloaded, but it can get a bit congested, you know. Like for instance, if there's only one person there, like there's no queue for like your information to travel through the radio waves. But like if it's like a shit ton of people, like modern day equipment is really good at handling this stuff, but like everything has a limit, so shit can get congested. So it's like, oh, dude, just things get like one after the other. Okay, it's Billy's computer's turn to send a packet. Now it's Pete's computer's turn, just one after the other. But that shouldn't be a problem, you know. That should be something just handled by someone who actually does like the measurements. Like people, when we, for instance, when we install like wireless access points, we have like equipment to measure out, okay, what's a good coverage for this room? Okay, and then we're going to ask people like, okay, how many people are going to be in this room? Are we going to need some beefier stuff? Are we going to need 2 access points? Like, so that's just shitty network planning, if I'm going to be honest. And might catch some shit for this, but like, yeah. So
we're over capacity. That's what it is.
Yes, most probably. Otherwise it's over capacity, or you're using shitty, like just non-commercial grade equipment.
So from the sounds of it, we have the best equipment. We're an internet company. We have the best equipment. Usually anything wired in works perfectly. Our Ethernet works perfectly. It's just like, for example, if we're in the podcast studio and I'm on the computer and I'm trying to like bring up my list or something, the like Ethernet wired in Zoom, like if we're talking to Arian on Macrodosing, totally is good. But like I can't pull something up on my computer because we have like 6 people in the room.
Jesus. Yeah, and that could be like that could be the room too, like the walls.
Mm.
It could be like the route, well, not the routers. That would be just a regular home router. The access points, the wireless access points, like could be set up wrong too, because there's usually there's two like popular frequency bands. So the regular like two frequency bands, like for home Wi-Fi and yeah, just for home Wi-Fi and like regular like company Wi-Fi is like 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. Don't worry, I'll explain. So 2.4 gigahertz, let's say like the frequency goes like this. And that's really good at penetrating walls and like concrete and like different certain objects. It's a bit slower than 5 gigahertz though. So 5 gigahertz goes like this. It's a lot faster. Well, like when it meets a wall, like it's having a harder time to penetrate the wall. So it's fast Wi-Fi. But like if you're surrounded by like thick ass concrete walls or like shit like on the walls, like it's gonna have a hard time penetrating if that room doesn't have like a dedicated access point. So could be wrong, like a wrong setup. Who knows? But like yeah. So that's like a thing. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense about the situation we're in, because in the studio, sometimes I think that's what it is. I think you've solved their issue. I'm actually going to talk to Pete about this because it makes a lot of sense. We need a input output point in the studio to send and receive those waves.
Yeah, exactly. Like if the more like well, not the more access points because they can disturb each other. But like just smarter planning, I would guess. And this is, I'll just say this, I haven't seen the infrastructure, I haven't seen the layout.
Yeah,
this is just my 2 cents of like how it could be. Like all my knowledge on wireless networks, even though I'm a fiber guy, is based from this super ass expensive book I got from college called Wireless Communication Networks and Systems. It's super expensive. Yeah.
now question from the chat: do Wi-Fi extenders work?
Yes, they work, but that depends on what you need it to work for. If you're going to be gaming and need low latency and ping like that, it's you're introducing another hop into the system. So like your home router, Wi-Fi extender, your computer. So like beep, beep, beep. So that's instead of just a one hop, that's another hop in the system. And Wi-Fi range extenders introduce, like if you're using like as a wireless range extender, like meaning you just put it there and it takes Wi-Fi and just repeats the Wi-Fi. It's a repeater and it can introduce errors like packet loss. Just because that's how it works. Like you can't just make infinite range Wi-Fi just putting these these little units everywhere. So that introduces like just a higher error rate. It's like, yeah, exactly. Like packet loss is a killer as someone who games. So the best thing you could do is use like a home access point or like a range extender. I have one of those that like you just take the cable, the Ethernet cable, and you could like wire it somehow to the house and put it into the Wi-Fi range extender and use it like as an access point. That's not going to introduce any extra lag or hop like that, because it's going to use a physical medium instead of you like depending on like double Wi-Fi. So that's not going to introduce any like extra errors.
So one time I remember in the chat you're talking about a time you turned off the power for like a whole you gotta tell that story.
Well, shit. So I'm kind of fresh out of college, even though I've studied networks for since I was like 15. Just quick story, like in Sweden you get to choose your like a major already from high school. So in high school I chose like a networking and IT major. You can choose like program and stuff like that from the age of 15. So I've done this for like a long time. And so I'm fresh out of college. I've studied networks and everything, but like I haven't been in a real like environment. I've done things like on equipment that's like in a lab. So that doesn't, like if I fuck shit up there, like an experiment, the worst thing that can happen is like I might brick the equipment, which is expensive, but like, hey, it could happen. Downing the internet for 500,000 people in a big European city like Stockholm, that is something completely different. And it's like, shit happens at my job. They're saying, oh, you're gonna make a mistake. Like, don't try to not make any mistakes because it's gonna happen. So like what I accidentally did was in my work, like I work with network migration. So I work for this big fiber company. And my job is like when my company buys up other smaller companies to buy up their fiber and their infrastructure, their routers and switches, it is my like job, like as a part of my team, to make projects and plan like how we're going to take their equipment and make it our own so we can expand our own network. And to do that, we had to log into our like own equipment and like be like, oh, we're going to allow this new equipment to get into our system for security reasons. Like we have to lift those security reasons because we're going to expand our network. So I accidentally, not accidentally, I logged into our like a core router, and a core router. This is like how do you say, just a business term or like, I don't know, industry term. A core router is just a packet shoving machine. Like it takes all the packets, like the internet traffic, literally like just internet traffic, just raw dogging it, just throwing it out there to the internet, just like bop, bop, bop. Just I log into that and I accidentally close down like I accidentally closed down like all of its interfaces, which like where you put in the cables, the Ethernet cables, you know, well, we're using fiber. And I accidentally shut down all the interfaces because I copy pasted in the wrong command to the router. And what happened then is like it took like 5 to 30 seconds before like my boss was just like, he had his glasses on, sitting in like in front of me, like at his desk. He just stood up and took off his glasses, like, Ali, what the fuck did you just do? I'm like, oh fuck. So like I could just see like our network operations center like sitting over there just panicking. They're like, what the fuck just happened? Oh my god. Like half of Stockholm just goes red. 500,000.
Did you see like all the lights go out? Was it localized to where you were or somewhere else?
No, I was at another city. We had two like main offices. So I was at other cities. I didn't like see like how it like shit happened. But I asked my colleagues at the Stockholm office, like, is all good? Like they still had their internet, but they saw people like being like pissed off at other offices, like in central Stockholm, like our own Times Square. They just saw like how shit like stopped working. I'm like, fuck. And luckily the interfaces that I closed were all like customer interfaces. So there weren't like, I didn't close any like down and up links that we have access to. So I managed to log in with the help of my boss, like checking like what the fuck I was wrong. And he saw like that I pasted in this command. He's like, fucking just like holding his head like this, like, come on, man. I'm like, hey, first time for everything. So we put up the interfaces again and shit started working. And so luckily it wasn't like, oh, I bricked something, but it was like I accidentally just turned off something that I wasn't supposed to turn off.
It wasn't the electricity, it was the Wi-Fi.
I'm sorry, no, not the Wi-Fi. Like so there's a big machine, like, and it has a shit ton of cables to it.
Yeah.
I just turned off all the ports where all the cables were, like, so I made them like just shut down. So there's no Wi-Fi involved here. Wi-Fi is a very home and office thing.
Oh, what I meant to say is you
there's
shut
just
off
like
the internet.
oh, like I'm the cables. Yeah, I basically just shut off the internet because like this big old like packet like hurling machine, this super expensive core router that I'm like that I logged into, and like I was just gonna check out some stuff on it, and then I just accidentally put in the wrong man. Yeah, it was like it fixed itself in like 5 minutes, so it's all good.
Crazy. I mean, what's living in Sweden like? Do you really, since you're so close to the Arctic Circle, is it really like sometimes of the year you like it's like 20 hours of daylight or like 20 hours of darkness.
You're lagging out a bit here for me, but
Oh yeah.
I heard the
We
question.
need you over here fixing the internet.
Fucking P.
Yeah, I know. It's
Hey,
literally, I think people are coming into the office.
there's a price.
Yeah.
Uh
My internet
yeah.
connection is unstable.
Like for instance, yeah, I noticed.
Yeah. Literally,
Wish I could
sometimes
help.
I use my phone more than I use the company Wi-Fi. It should stabilize now. God damn it! What a
Bill?
perfect time to
Yeah,
have
you're
internet
lagging.
issues.
Okay.
I think we're back.
Oh, the irony. The
I know,
irony.
right?
Yep, I think so too. Yeah, like for instance, right now it's let's see, it's 10:37 p.m. and it's still like a bit like a shade of like good blue light outside. And like the sun, I know the sun's gonna rise and like it's gonna set like in a couple of minutes, like completely become dark. And then at 2 a.m. the sun's gonna be out again. And I'm used to it. Like people who live like super far north in Sweden, like that's fucked up. But I'm so I'm also like I'm religious. I'm a Muslim. So that fucks me up during Ramadan. That's the only problem. Like,
Oh,
and I do sports during Ramadan. I do practice. Like for instance, Ramadan was just now, like in April, and like the sun was like setting at like at 8, and then just at the end of Ramadan was like setting at like 9:30. It's just like I'm at practice, just like not drinking water, just running around and be like, just fucking dying. And then like I had to stop eating at like 3 a.m.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ!
yeah, it was
That's
worse like a couple of years ago when it was like during the summer. No fucking like the sun being up all the time, just laughing at me, just cooking me up during practice and like games.
what's the? Do you have periods of more darkness than light?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. In Sweden, like during the winter, it can get in fucking insane. It's like, oh, you wake up at let's say 7 a.m. It's dark as fuck outside. You go to your job at like 8. We'll say you're at the office at 8, and you see the sun come up at like sort of like, I don't know, 10, 11. You're like, oh, like there's a bit of a sun. And then at 2 p.m., it's already gone. Like 2
Have
3
you
p.m., it's gone.
have you ever had Ramadan during one of those times?
I was a kid. The last time it was like during those times, but like that's what we're like all patiently holding out for. We're like, hey, just in a couple of years, it's gonna be better. Like, fuck yeah. Imagine you just wake up and you get to eat, and then you just go to like do whatever for like 2 3 hours, and then you get to eat again.
That's ridiculous, dude. I know how much I've heard so many stories about Muslim athletes during Ramadan and how that affects like their play and everything. So that's crazy. But it's even crazier when thinking about when you're like, dealing with something with irregular sun cycles. That's just insane.
Yeah, I mean, shout out Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Hakeem Olajuwon. Those guys were fucking beasts during Ramadan.
Yeah.
But like I can't do what they do because like I fast during practices, but like on game days, I don't fast those days. I usually do those days over like after Ramadan, but like
Oh,
I don't understand how they do that
you
or
pick them
how
up
they did
later.
that. Yeah. It's like a bit of a Billy on that one. So future me
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. I think if the chat has any questions, I'm trying to, let's see. Yeah. I mean, is there any other difficulties with practicing a religion in like a part of the world, or is it the sunlight during Ramadan is one of the biggest from that type of issue?
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get political in here.
Yeah, no,
So.
I actually didn't realize what I was saying.
I mean, there's some Islamophobia and racism everywhere, so it is what it is. Though I just live my life and do my own thing. Like I'm free to practice whatever, so I'm happy about that. And I live in a great country, and I'm happy to like. I always get so shocked when I talk to other guys on the Discord. I don't like. Sorry, I can't remember who I was talking to, but like got into like a car accident and like had to pay like almost 100K, and luckily got it down to like 10K, like with insurance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to answer just that question in the chat, Swedish girls are smoking. They like Americans. So if you guys ever feel up for a visit, Billy, you're always welcome here. So for football camps or whatever, Tinder's good here. I'll tell you that. I have a girlfriend, so I'm good on that.
I was actually thinking for a long time going to Europe and play. I don't think I could make one of the top teams because they have those American limits of how many Americans you have on the team, right?
Yeah.
But I was thinking maybe I could probably make one of the lower teams and then like probably play for a couple of years, maybe get up to a different level. But it seems like awesome. Like I heard some of them like pay for your whole room and board, and I mean,
yeah,
it would be a pretty sweet lifestyle. Make some content from over there, maybe catch a half-time paycheck from Barstool if I ever did that. But
for sure, like Donnie did in China, but like
yeah,
way more professional, because that was the funniest shit I've ever seen.
I know.
We would put up like 500 on the Chinese team, just saying. No, for instance, like our quarterback, he's from UC Davis.
Oh.
And like Stockholm's quarterback is from Moorhead State. Like we have like a lot of former Division 1 guys, but also like Division 3 guys play here. Like mostly like skill positions or defensive positions. But you would definitely make like a lot of teams. I don't think you'll be able to warrant like pay like some other guys would, like warrant the amount of pay.
Right.
But you would get like free housing, free car, free phone, free clothing, free food, and you get to live in like different European cities. I have friends who like, I had this guy, he was like a really good, like great wide receiver from University of Colorado, Tyler McCullough, like old teammate, party head. That guy used his football skills like as a passport. He played in Italy, he played in Germany, he played in Sweden, just chilling, just fucking around. Like, and he wasn't just a monster athlete, so like there wasn't much we could just like tell him, like, hey, you gotta be more professional, whatever. It was a bit toxic to the team, but like that guy lived his life, just like partying like almost every day, showing up on game day, catching 3 touchdowns and like 200 yards every game.
Jeez.
And just yeah.
I mean, you can't stop that. I mean that.
No, you can't stop that. But like, yeah, and he was just having darties all day. Like I remember the first time yeah. Jesus, he was like from what I know, that like University of Colorado was like a big ass party school.
Yeah.
And like first time I met this guy, I was gonna pick him up like at the train station. We were gonna go like do some sneaker shopping, and he's like, "Hey dude, like you want a Xanax?" I'm like, what? Like a Xanax? I'm like, no, I'm good, dude. I'm straight. Like I've never had a fucking Xanax. Like I used to drink before and like party and like do whatever, but like first thing you say to me, like Xanax. This guy was like, he was like a tall ass white guy, but everyone just called him Gucci. So it's funny as fuck.
We might have to bleep his name out because we don't want to incriminate him too much.
Like I've been really nice to him, so let's just say that. Like he's, you can bleep it out if you want.
Yeah, but that would be an awesome lifestyle. But
yeah.
Do you have any like dog laws over there? Like, could you bring like an American bulldog over there? Are bully breeds banned in Sweden? Do you know?
No, I don't think bully breeds are banned. I have some guys I know, like, for instance, like saw a lady with a pit bull last week. I'm not much of a dog person. Like I'm allergic, but like you could definitely just show up with your dog here. I think that's a good question. I'm gonna
research those laws. There's it's always in the back of my mind that I might get fired, and if I do, I'm probably going to Europe to play football.
That's Fuck yeah, dude! I'll help set it up.
That would actually be sick.
I just saw,
like,
dude,
actually, now that I think about it,
I'll hook it up for sure. I'll hook it up for sure, dude. But you would love it. Like, I know, you would actually love it.
Dude, sweet it.
Like for instance, like if you play in Stockholm, like you wouldn't be like people wouldn't notice you in the streets, like because you're like you play American football, you're not playing for the top soccer team or the hockey team.
Yeah.
But that's also nice because you're just living your own life, just doing whatever. For instance, like last year, I played in Örebro, which is a smaller city, but like they're like a football team. Like they play in this big ass like arena meant for like the top soccer team, and like everyone knows who you are. Like I remember I was single at the time. This was the night before the Swedish Championship game, like 2021. I was on Tinder, and I was just swiping, just like I was like, oh fuck it, like I want to like meet up somewhere because I'm not usually in the city because I travel from Stockholm to that city, and like I'm just talking to this chick on Tinder the day before the game, and she's like, why do you want to meet up now? Like you have a game tomorrow, like I'll be there, I'm gonna watch you. I'm like fuck, like she's calling me out, like one of my coaches. He's like, yeah, she's like, go get your fucking sleep, dude. Like you got a big game tomorrow. It did end up in me getting this sweet ass championship ring. So
that's sick.
Actually, yeah, so score, my name and position, and the Örebro Castle right there, and our logo.
By the way, you played outside linebacker. We'll plug your highlight tape. I watched it. It's pretty sick. I mean, this makes me want to go play overseas.
Sure, dude.
I mean, maybe I should swing something.
There's a page for that. It's like it's called Europlayers. It's like how do you say? What's that website where people can put up like weird things in the US? The old
Craigslist?
Website. Yeah, it's like Craigslist, but like for football players. It's like you can put up your highlights and like your profile, and like I can run a 4.5 and I have references and I have coaching experiences. Like, oh, what passport do you have? They love dual passports. If you finally find where the fuck your European heritage is from and you can get a passport from that, you won't even count as an American player.
I'm too far. I mean, I'm like 1800s Irish, so I don't think I qualify for that.
Yeah, but just to answer some no, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
Nah, I mean, yeah, I don't think I'd qualify. We have a buddy in the office who plays for the Czech lacrosse team because of his grandparents, but for like the Olympics, but I don't think I'd qualify that.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna just answer. I want to answer some questions in chat because these are actually just killing me. Yeah. Let's see. So bestiality is illegal in Sweden. Just saying. And I'm after this Achilles injury, I'm retired at the ripe age of 25 because I want to focus on getting. Yeah, like I've played for 4 teams. I've won 2 championships. I've done everything I wanted to do in the sport. I've got money. I played international games, won international games. I'm like,
are you officially announcing your retirement on episode 2 of Billy's List? This is breaking news. Breaking news. Ali has announced his retirement. Breaking. I broke huge news. Major international player Ali is retired from American football in Sweden.
Outside linebacker Ali Shakur announcing his retirement. Yeah, I'm retired. This Achilles injury is like fuck. I decided to retire before like a couple of games into the season. Like I was playing, like I'm gonna finish this season, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try to win a championship. And I played international game, just trying to get off my stance, and my Achilles just popped, and I'm like really, my last season? Like I already decided I was gonna retire. Now this shit happens. So yeah. So I'm gonna focus on making money, might start my own company like after I've got some capital. So yeah.
That's awesome. Any more questions?
Just to answer Nick. Yeah. Are there only so many American players allowed on a Swedish team? Yeah, every team is allowed 2 American imports. So people usually get like a quarterback. That's like a given because hardest position to play. And they either get like a really good defensive player or like a weapon for their quarterback, like a really good wide receiver or good running back. If you need a logo for your company, I love their rules. Not really. I think we play at least with NCAA rules. So we play college rules. So Billy would fit right in here. But it's 2. I just realized it's 2 Americans per team, but you're also allowed to have like 10 or 8 foreign players, so like non-Swedish players. But you're also allowed to have dual passports. So they're like the best type of player to get. It's a fucked up system over here in Europe because you can get like a guy who's played his whole career, like Division 1 college, like high school, like maybe some NFL here and there. And it's like, oh, he has an Italian granddad. Let me go to the Italian embassy and get an Italian passport. Boom, you're an Italian player now.
Yeah.
So you don't even count as an American. So that's like Sweden played the Swedish national team, who snubbed me, by the way, played against the Italian national team in the European Championship like finals, and the Italian national team is just like all Americans, American QB, running back, O-line, wide receivers, whatever. So yeah,
I heard the
I was
Florence team.
The Florence team.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. They're decent.
What's his face? The old Baylor head coach, coach there. Not Art. Was it Art Briles?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Art Briles. He coached the Firenze Guelfi. I don't think he does anymore because he just got a college job.
Yeah.
The really fun thing is Jim Tomsula, the Italian legend. Jim Tomsula is coaching right now in Germany, and his team is currently 3-0 undefeated, the Rhine Fire in the ELF, the European League of Football. So he's undefeated right now, the GOAT, the legend.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I was gonna say one more thing too, because I remember from the macrodosing pod, I don't know if it's a taboo question now or because the whole situation, but whatever.
No, absolutely.
You guys were talking, because you guys were talking about like sentience, about the AI and everything like that.
Yeah.
That shit is not sentient.
It's not sentient.
It's just like no. It's I sent a pretty good video like in the macrodosing, like on the Discord, whatever. But like it's basically just a machine that like it's only allowed to learn where it's like allowed to learn, and it can't like self-improve its code, and it has like no idea what sentience is. It's like a language model that can like that's limited by hardware still, but even though it's really good, like super fucking expensive $1 million of hardware, it can just learn shit really fast, but just scouring the internet and just make like really, 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 really good educated guesses. So like, depending on what you're talking about it with, like it doesn't know what it's talking about, but it's like, oh, it is super likely that like I should respond like this. So if the guy is chatting with it, he's like, oh, do you have a sentience? And it's gonna respond like, yeah, I miss this, and I'm like, I feel like this, and sometimes it gets lonely, and I'm afraid of death. It's like, damn. But yeah, it has no sense of irony. It doesn't have sentience. It's just expensive. We haven't achieved like true AI and like true sentience yet. Even though I'm not an AI guy or a data scientist like that, I know some people, but it's a hobby thing for me. Just like looking at nerd YouTube, like you do dinosaurs. I watch dinosaurs and like fucking human evolution and stuff like that. But like, we are still far away from that stuff.
Away.
At least from what I know. I don't know what the governments know. So
yeah, the government has AI.
Oh, for sure. Something like that. Probably the dumbest shit though.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think we're closing in around an hour-ish. I kind of want to keep these a little shorter, not to distract from Macrodosing and other podcasts that are longer, so people can get a quick listen. But thank you so much, Ali, for coming on. Thank you to everybody who's involved. Shout out Jake again and To The Cloud. Amazing interview. Great to hear about foreign football. I kind of want to go over there. Sounds like a great time. Awesome. Thank you to everyone involved.
Can I do some shout outs?
Yeah, go for it. Shout out whoever.
Yeah. Hey, shout out Josh Murphy, outside linebacker for the Swedish national team and the Örebro Black Knights from the US, and Eric Murphy, both macrodosing and part of my take listeners, who are like some of the only AWLs in Sweden. My fucking brothers. Love you guys.
Perfect. Awesome. Subscribe to the Macrodosing YouTube. Hopefully tune in if you didn't listen to episode 1, definitely worth it. The audio is a little tricky, but if you stand true to it, there's some amazing stories. Thanks to Ali, and stay tuned for episode 3, hopefully coming maybe end of this week, probably early next week. See what we got going. Thanks, guys.